Park Bo-gum's driver was wrongly accused. Minutes later, the truth came out. The flashbulbs were blinding, a relentless assault on the senses. Park Bo-gum, ever the epitome of grace under pressure, maintained a serene smile as he navigated the throng of reporters outside the Busan International Film Festival gala. He offered a quick wave, a polite bow, and then smoothly transitioned toward the waiting limousine, a sleek black sedan that seemed to absorb the chaos around it. Inside, the air conditioning hummed a soothing counterpoint to the frenzy. Behind the wheel sat Mr. Kim, Bo-gum's longtime driver, a man of quiet dignity and unwavering loyalty. He was a fixture in Bo-gum's life, a constant presence who anticipated his needs before they were even voiced. Mr. Kim had driven countless celebrities, politicians, and dignitaries in his career, but he treated everyone with the same respectful professionalism. He was, in essence, invisible, a seamless cog in the machine of Bo-gum's carefully curated public image. That invisibility shattered in an instant. As Mr. Kim carefully pulled away from the curb, a piercing shriek cut through the air. A woman, clutching her designer handbag, stumbled back, her face contorted in fury. "He hit me! That car hit me," she screamed, pointing a trembling finger at the limousine. The world seemed to freeze. The reporters, like sharks scenting blood, surged forward, their cameras clicking furiously. Bo-gum, who had been settling into his seat, instantly tensed, his eyes widening in disbelief. He knew Mr. Kim. He trusted him implicitly. This couldn't be happening. The woman, now surrounded by a growing circle of onlookers, continued her tirade. "I was crossing the street. He wasn't paying attention. My bag, it's ruined." She dramatically displayed the offending handbag, a pristine white creation now marred by a faint black smudge. Mr. Kim, his face etched with shock and disbelief, immediately stopped the car. He lowered the window, his voice calm but firm. "Madam, I assure you, I did not hit you. I was proceeding slowly and carefully. Perhaps you stumbled?" "Liar," the woman shrieked, her voice reaching a fever pitch. "I have witnesses. This is assault. I'm calling the police." The situation escalated rapidly. The reporters, sensing a scandal, were in a feeding frenzy. Headlines flashed before Bo-gum's eyes: Park Bo-gum's driver in hit-and-run allegation. Celebrity driver accused of assault. The potential damage to his reputation, to his carefully constructed image of wholesome perfection, was immense. Bo-gum knew he had to act, and fast. He pushed open the car door, his presence instantly silencing the crowd. He approached the woman, his expression a mask of concern. "Madam, I am so sorry this happened. Please, let's try to resolve this calmly. Mr. Kim is a very experienced driver, and I'm sure there's been a misunderstanding." He offered her a reassuring smile, the same smile that had captivated millions of fans worldwide. The woman, momentarily flustered by Bo-gum's proximity, seemed to soften slightly. But the reporters, hungry for a story, continued to press. "Mr. Park, do you believe your driver? Is this a cover-up? Will you be taking responsibility for his actions?" Bo-gum held up his hand, silencing the barrage of questions. "Please, everyone, let's take a step back and allow the police to investigate. I trust that the truth will come out." He turned to Mr. Kim, his eyes filled with reassurance. "Mr. Kim, stay calm. Everything will be all right." The police arrived within minutes, sirens wailing, adding to the already chaotic scene. They began to question the woman, Mr. Kim, and the surrounding witnesses. The tension was palpable, the air thick with suspicion and speculation. As the investigation unfolded, Bo-gum stood silently by Mr. Kim's side, a steadfast pillar of support. He refused to leave him, refusing to allow him to face this ordeal alone. He knew that Mr. Kim was an honest and honorable man, and he was determined to clear his name. Meanwhile, a young woman, a street vendor selling tteokbokki, spicy rice cakes, nearby, watched the scene unfold with growing unease. She had seen the entire incident, and she knew that Mr. Kim was innocent. She had a clear view of the limousine as it pulled away from the curb, and she was certain that it had not hit the woman. The woman had simply tripped, perhaps distracted by her phone, and then seized the opportunity to make a scene. Hesitantly, she approached one of the police officers, her voice trembling with nervousness. "Excuse me," she said, "I saw what happened. The car didn't hit her. She tripped." The police officer, initially dismissive, listened to her account with growing interest. He questioned her closely, verifying her details. Her story was consistent and credible. Minutes later, the truth came out. The police officer announced to the crowd that after reviewing the witness testimony and examining the scene, they had determined that Mr. Kim was not at fault. The woman had indeed tripped and fallen, and the limousine had not made contact with her. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. The reporters, momentarily stunned, scrambled to rewrite their headlines. The woman, her face flushed with embarrassment, tried to slink away, but she was quickly apprehended by the police for filing a false report. Mr. Kim was exonerated. Relief washed over his face, and he offered a small, grateful bow to the street vendor who had spoken the truth. Bogum stepped forward, his arm around Mr. Kim's shoulder. "I knew it," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I knew you were innocent." He turned to the crowd, his expression serious. "It's important to remember that things are not always as they seem. We should always strive to be fair and just, and to give people the benefit of the doubt." The crowd, humbled by the revelation, dispersed slowly. The reporters, chastened by their rush to judgment, packed up their equipment and left. The chaos subsided, leaving behind a sense of quiet reflection. As Bogum and Mr. Kim finally drove away from the scene, Bogum turned to his driver, his eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Kim, for everything. I'm so glad the truth came out." Mr. Kim simply nodded, his eyes focused on the road ahead. "Thank you, Bogum SSI, for believing in me." The incident had been a harrowing ordeal, but it had also revealed the strength of their bond and the importance of standing up for what is right. It was a stark reminder that even in the world of fame and fortune, integrity and loyalty still mattered. In the days that followed, the story of Park Bogum's unwavering support for his driver became a viral sensation. He was praised for his integrity, his compassion, and his commitment to justice. The incident, which could have been a devastating blow to his career, actually enhanced his reputation, solidifying his image as a genuinely good person. Bogum learned a valuable lesson from the experience. He realized that true strength lies not in avoiding controversy, but in facing it head-on with honesty and integrity. He also learned the importance of trusting his instincts and standing by those he believes in, even when the odds are stacked against them. And Mr. Kim, the quiet, unassuming driver, became an unlikely hero, a symbol of integrity and resilience. He continued to drive Bogum, his loyalty unwavering, his dignity intact. He knew that he had been through a trial by fire, but he had emerged stronger and more determined than ever. The incident at the Busan International Film Festival faded into memory, but the lessons learned remained. Park Bogum and Mr. Kim continued their journey together, their bond strengthened by the shared experience. They knew that they could face any challenge, as long as they had each other's back. The final scene shows Bogum and Mr. Kim driving away from another event, years later. Bogum is laughing, sharing a light-hearted story with Mr. Kim. The camera focuses on Mr. Kim's face, a subtle smile playing on his lips. He is no longer invisible. He is a man who has been tested and proven, a man who has earned the respect and admiration of those around him. The car disappears into the night, leaving the audience with a sense of hope and inspiration. The truth, in the end, always prevails. And sometimes, it takes a moment of crisis to reveal the true character of those around us. The real stars aren't just on the screen, they are often the quiet heroes who stand beside them, unwavering in their loyalty and integrity. That is the enduring legacy of Park Bogum and his driver, Mr. Kim. Years passed. Park Bogum's star continued to ascend, his talent and genuine kindness captivating audiences worldwide. He starred in critically acclaimed dramas, box office hits, and continued to be a sought-after ambassador for countless brands. But amidst the whirlwind of fame, he never forgot the lesson he learned in Busan, the day Mr. Kim was wrongly accused. Mr. Kim, too, remained a constant in Bogum's life. He wasn't just a driver, he was a confidant, a silent observer of the ever-changing landscape of Bogum's career. He saw the pressures, the anxieties, the rare moments of quiet joy. He offered no unsolicited advice, but his presence was a grounding force, a reminder of simpler times, of the values that truly mattered. One crisp autumn evening, Bogum was scheduled to attend a charity gala in Seoul. The event was a high-profile affair, attended by the crème de la crème of Korean society. The paparazzi would be out in full force, and every detail, from his outfit to his demeanor, would be scrutinized. As Mr. Kim navigated the congested Seoul streets, Bogum was reviewing his notes for the evening. He was scheduled to give a short speech, highlighting the importance of supporting underprivileged children. He wanted to strike the right tone, to be sincere and impactful. Suddenly, a sharp jolt shook the limousine. Mr. Kim slammed on the brakes, the car skidding to a halt. Bogum was thrown forward, his notes scattering across the floor. "What happened?" Bogum asked, his voice laced with concern. Mr. Kim, his face pale, pointed to the rearview mirror. "A motorcycle, it came out of nowhere. I think I hit it." Bogum's heart sank. Not again. He braced himself for the inevitable chaos, the flashing cameras, the accusations. The memory of Busan, of the woman screaming and the reporters swarming, flashed vividly in his mind. He quickly assessed the situation. The motorcycle lay on its side a few feet behind the limousine. The rider, a young man in his early 20s, was lying on the ground, clutching his leg. He appeared to be in pain. Mr. Kim immediately jumped out of the car, his face etched with worry. "Are you all right? Are you hurt badly?" he asked, his voice filled with genuine concern. The young man groaned, his face contorted in pain. "My leg, I think it's broken." A small crowd began to gather, drawn by the commotion. Bogum knew that the paparazzi wouldn't be far behind. He had to act quickly, to control the narrative before it spiraled out of control. He stepped out of the limousine, his presence immediately silencing the onlookers. He approached the young man, his expression a mask of concern. "Please, let me help you. We'll call an ambulance right away." He knelt beside the young man, offering him a reassuring smile. "My name is Park Bogum. What's yours?" The young man looked up at him, his eyes widening in recognition. I know who you are," he stammered. "I'm Lee Min-jae." Bogum gently examined Min-jae's leg. "It looks like it might be broken. Don't try to move it. We'll get you to a hospital as soon as possible." He instructed Mr. Kim to call for an ambulance and the police. Meanwhile, he stayed with Min-jae, offering him comfort and reassurance. He asked him about his family, his studies, anything to distract him from the pain. Within minutes, the sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder as the ambulance and police cars approached. The paparazzi, as expected, arrived on the scene, their cameras flashing incessantly. The police officers quickly took control of the situation, securing the scene and beginning their investigation. They questioned Mr. Kim, Min-jae, and the surrounding witnesses. As the investigation unfolded, Bogum remained by Min-jae's side, offering him support and encouragement. He knew that Mr. Kim was an experienced driver, but accidents could happen to anyone. He was determined to ensure that Min-jae received the best possible care and that the truth of the incident was revealed. The reporters, sensing another scandal, were in a frenzy. They peppered Bogum with questions, their voices filled with suspicion and accusation. "Mr. Park, is your driver responsible for this accident? Is this another case of celebrity privilege? Will you be compensating the victim?" Bogum held up his hand, silencing the barrage of questions. "Please, everyone, let's allow the police to conduct their investigation. My priority is to ensure that Mr. Lee receives the medical attention he needs. I trust that the truth will come out." He turned to Mr. Kim, his eyes filled with reassurance. "Mr. Kim, stay calm. Everything will be all right." As Min-jae was being loaded into the ambulance, he looked up at Bogum, his eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Park," he said, his voice weak. "You didn't have to stay with me." Bogum smiled gently. "It was the least I could do. I hope you have a speedy recovery." After the ambulance departed, the police continued their investigation. They examined the scene, interviewed the witnesses, and reviewed the traffic camera footage. Hours passed, the tension hanging heavy in the air. Bogum remained at the scene, patiently waiting for the results of the investigation. He refused to leave Mr. Kim, refusing to allow him to face this ordeal alone. Finally, the police officer in charge approached Bogum and Mr. Kim. After reviewing the evidence, he said, "We have determined that Mr. Kim was not at fault. The motorcycle ran a red light and collided with the limousine. Mr. Kim did everything he could to avoid the accident." Relief washed over Mr. Kim's face. He had been driving for decades, and he had never been involved in a serious accident. The thought of being responsible for injuring someone had been weighing heavily on his mind. Bogum placed a hand on Mr. Kim's shoulder, his eyes filled with gratitude. "I knew it," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I knew you weren't at fault." He turned to the reporters, his expression serious. "I hope this incident serves as a reminder to be careful on the roads and to always obey the traffic laws. And I hope that Mr. Lee has a speedy recovery." The reporters, chastened by their rush to judgment, packed up their equipment and left. The chaos subsided, leaving behind a sense of quiet reflection. As Bogum and Mr. Kim finally drove away from the scene, Bogum turned to his driver, his eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Kim, for everything. I'm so glad the truth came out." Mr. Kim simply nodded, his eyes focused on the road ahead. "Thank you, Bogum SSI, for believing in me." The incident had been a stressful ordeal, but it had also reaffirmed the strength of their bond and the importance of standing up for what is right. It was a stark reminder that even in the face of adversity, honesty and integrity will always prevail. In the days that followed, Bogum visited Min Jae in the hospital, offering him support and encouragement. He paid for his medical expenses and ensured that he received the best possible care. He even helped him find a new motorcycle after he recovered. Min Jae was deeply touched by Bogum's kindness. He realized that Bogum was not just a celebrity, he was a genuinely good person who cared about others. He became a lifelong fan of Bogum, admiring him not only for his talent but also for his character. The incident at the charity gala faded into memory, but the lessons learned remained. Park Bogum and Mr. Kim continued their journey together, their bond strengthened by the shared experience. They knew that they could face any challenge, as long as they had each other's back. Years later, Bogum was giving an interview about his career and his life. The interviewer asked him about the incident in Busan and the accident in Seoul. Bogum smiled thoughtfully. "Those were difficult times," he said, "but they taught me valuable lessons. I learned the importance of trusting my instincts, of standing up for what is right, and of always believing in the good in people. And I learned that true strength lies not in avoiding adversity, but in facing it head-on with honesty and integrity." He paused, his eyes filled with emotion. "And I learned the importance of having loyal friends and colleagues who stand by you, no matter what. Mr. Kim is more than just my driver, he's my friend, my confidant, and my rock." The camera focused on Bogum's face, his expression radiating sincerity and gratitude. He was a true star, not just on the screen, but in life. And he knew that he couldn't have done it without the support of the quiet hero who had been by his side all along, his loyal driver, Mr. Kim. The final shot shows Bogum and Mr. Kim driving away, the Seoul skyline twinkling in the background. They are both smiling, their faces reflecting the peace and contentment that comes from living a life of integrity and purpose. The car disappears into the night, leaving the audience with a feeling of hope and inspiration. The truth, in the end, always prevails. And sometimes, it takes a moment of crisis to reveal the true character of those around us. The real stars aren't just on the screen, they are often the quiet heroes who stand beside them, unwavering in their loyalty and integrity. The end. The years continued to unfold, each one adding another layer to the rich tapestry of Park Bogum's life and career. He continued to challenge himself artistically, taking on diverse roles that showcased his range and depth as an actor. He remained a beacon of positivity, using his platform to advocate for causes he believed in, inspiring countless others to do the same. And through it all, Mr. Kim remained his steadfast companion, a silent guardian, a constant reminder of the values that anchored him. One sweltering summer day, Bogum was filming a particularly demanding scene for his latest drama, a historical epic set during the Joseon dynasty. The set was a sprawling recreation of a royal palace, complete with intricate costumes, period props, and a cast of hundreds. The heat was stifling, the air thick with humidity, and the pressure to deliver a flawless performance was immense. Bogum was playing the role of a conflicted prince, torn between his duty to his kingdom and his love for a commoner. The scene required him to express a wide range of emotions, from regal authority to heartbreaking vulnerability. He poured his heart and soul into the performance, pushing himself to the limit both physically and emotionally. As the day wore on, Bogum began to feel the strain. He was exhausted, dehydrated, and his voice was starting to give out. But he refused to let his weariness show, determined to give his best for the sake of the drama and the crew. During a brief break between scenes, Bogum retreated to his trailer, seeking a moment of respite from the chaos. He slumped into a chair, closing his eyes and taking a deep breath. Mr. Kim quietly entered the trailer, carrying a tray with a glass of iced tea and a cool towel. He placed the tray on the table beside Bogum and gently draped the towel over his forehead. Bogum opened his eyes, a grateful smile spreading across his face. "Thank you, Mr. Kim," he said, his voice hoarse. "You always know what I need." Mr. Kim simply nodded, his eyes filled with concern. "You're working too hard, Bogum SSI. You need to take care of yourself." Bogum sighed. "I know, but I want to do my best. This drama is important to me." Mr. Kim remained silent for a moment, then spoke in a low, steady voice. "Bogum SSI, you are already doing your best. You are a talented and dedicated actor. But you are also a human being. You need to rest and recharge. Don't push yourself too hard." Bogum looked at Mr. Kim, his eyes filled with gratitude. He knew that Mr. Kim was right. He had been so focused on his work that he had neglected his own well-being. He took a sip of the iced tea, feeling the cool liquid soothe his parched throat. He closed his eyes again, allowing himself to relax and release the tension that had been building up inside him. "Thank you, Mr. Kim," he said, his voice stronger now. "I needed to hear that." Mr. Kim smiled faintly. "That's what I'm here for, Bogum SSI." After a few minutes of quiet reflection, Bogum felt refreshed and rejuvenated. He stood up, stretching his arms and taking a deep breath. "Okay," he said, his voice filled with renewed energy. "I'm ready to go back to work." Mr. Kim nodded approvingly. "Good. But remember what I said. Take care of yourself." Bogum smiled. "I will, Mr. Kim. I promise." As Bogum returned to the set, he carried with him a newfound sense of balance and perspective. He realized that true success was not just about achieving professional goals, it was also about maintaining his physical and emotional well-being. He continued to give his best performance, but he also made sure to take breaks when he needed them, to listen to his body, and to prioritize his health. He learned to trust his instincts and to rely on the support of those around him, especially Mr. Kim. The drama was a resounding success, earning critical acclaim and widespread popularity. Bogum's performance was hailed as a masterpiece, showcasing his versatility and emotional depth. He received numerous awards and accolades, solidifying his status as one of the leading actors of his generation. But amidst all the praise and recognition, Bogum never forgot the lesson he learned that sweltering summer day on the set. He knew that true success was not just about fame and fortune, it was about living a life of purpose, integrity, and balance. Years later, Bogum was invited to give a commencement speech at his alma mater, a prestigious university in Seoul. He was honored to have the opportunity to share his experiences and insights with the graduating class. He spent weeks preparing his speech, carefully crafting each word to convey his message of hope, inspiration, and resilience. He wanted to encourage the graduates to pursue their dreams, to embrace challenges, and to never give up on their passions. On the day of the commencement ceremony, Bogum stood on the stage, looking out at the sea of faces before him. He felt a surge of emotion, a sense of gratitude and humility. He began his speech by sharing the story of the incident in Busan, the day Mr. Kim was wrongly accused. He recounted the fear, the uncertainty, and the pressure he felt to protect his reputation. He then talked about the accident in Seoul, the moment when he realized the importance of trusting his instincts and standing up for what is right. He concluded his speech by emphasizing the importance of living a life of purpose, integrity, and balance. He encouraged the graduates to pursue their passions, to embrace challenges, and to never give up on their dreams. Life is not always easy, he said, his voice filled with emotion. There will be times when you face adversity, when you feel lost and discouraged. But remember that you are not alone. You have the strength and resilience to overcome any obstacle. And you have the support of your family, your friends, and your community. He paused, his eyes scanning the audience. Never forget the values that have guided you to this point. Be honest, be kind, be compassionate. Stand up for what is right, even when it's difficult. And always remember to take care of yourself, both physically and emotionally. He smiled, his eyes filled with hope. The future is yours. Go out there and make a difference in the world. The graduates erupted in applause, their faces filled with inspiration and determination. Bogum had touched their hearts and minds, leaving them with a message that would stay with them for the rest of their lives. As Bogum stepped off the stage, he was greeted by a familiar face. Mr. Kim stood waiting for him, a proud smile on his face. That was a wonderful speech, Bogum SSI, Mr. Kim said, his voice filled with emotion. You spoke from the heart. Bogum smiled and placed a hand on Mr. Kim's shoulder. Thank you, Mr. Kim. I couldn't have done it without you. They walked away together, side by side, their bond stronger than ever. They were two men from different backgrounds, but they were united by a shared sense of purpose, integrity, and loyalty. They were a testament to the power of friendship, resilience, and the enduring importance of standing up for what is right. The final scene shows Bogum and Mr. Kim driving away, the Seoul skyline twinkling in the background. The camera pans up to the sky, where a single star shines brightly, a symbol of hope, inspiration, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The end. Years drifted by, and Park Bogum, now a seasoned actor and a respected figure in Korean society, found himself reflecting on his journey. He was no longer just a rising star, he was a supernova, illuminating the lives of millions with his talent and his unwavering commitment to goodness. Yet, amidst the glitz and glamour, the red carpets and the awards ceremonies, he remained grounded, his heart tethered to the simple values that had guided him from the very beginning. One particularly poignant moment occurred during a retrospective interview celebrating his 10th anniversary in the entertainment industry. The interviewer, a seasoned journalist known for her insightful questions, delved into the formative experiences that had shaped him. Mr. Park, she began, her voice warm and engaging, you've achieved so much in such a relatively short time. What would you say has been the most valuable lesson you've learned along the way? Bogum paused, his gaze drifting momentarily towards the window, as if searching for the answer in the cityscape beyond. That's a difficult question, he admitted, because there have been so many. But if I had to choose just one, I would say it's the importance of empathy. Of truly understanding and appreciating the perspectives of others, even when they differ from our own. He then shared the stories of the incidents in Busan and Seoul, recounting the fear and uncertainty he had felt, but also the profound sense of responsibility to ensure that justice prevailed. Those experiences taught me that everyone deserves to be treated with respect and dignity, he explained, regardless of their social status or their circumstances. And they taught me that it's our duty to speak out against injustice, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. The interviewer nodded thoughtfully. And what role has Mr. Kim played in your life throughout all of this, she inquired, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. Bogum's face lit up with a warm smile. Mr. Kim is more than just my driver, he declared. He's my friend, my confidant, my mentor. He's been a constant source of support and guidance, always reminding me of the importance of staying true to myself, no matter what. He went on to describe Mr. Kim's unwavering loyalty, his quiet wisdom, and his unwavering commitment to doing what is right. He emphasized that Mr. Kim had been instrumental in helping him navigate the complexities of fame and success, keeping him grounded and focused on what truly mattered. I owe him a debt of gratitude that I can never repay, Bogum concluded, his voice filled with emotion. He's been a true blessing in my life. The interview was a resounding success, resonating with audiences around the world. Bogum's honesty, humility, and heartfelt appreciation for Mr. Kim touched the hearts of millions, further solidifying his reputation as a role model and an inspiration. A few weeks later, Bogum received an unexpected invitation to attend a special ceremony honoring unsung heroes in the community. The event was organized by a local non-profit organization dedicated to recognizing individuals who had made significant contributions to society without seeking recognition or reward. Bogum was deeply moved by the invitation, but he felt conflicted. He was scheduled to be filming on location for his latest movie, and he knew that it would be difficult to take time off. He shared his dilemma with Mr. Kim, seeking his advice. Bogum SSI, Mr. Kim said, his voice calm and steady, "This is an important opportunity. You should go." Bogum hesitated. "But what about the filming schedule? I don't want to let the crew down." Mr. Kim smiled gently. "They will understand. This is more important. You have a chance to honor those who deserve it most." Bogum thought about Mr. Kim's words. He knew that he was right. He contacted the film production team, explaining the situation and requesting a brief leave of absence. To his relief, they were understanding and supportive. On the day of the ceremony, Bogum arrived at the venue, a modest community center in a quiet neighborhood. He was immediately struck by the warmth and sincerity of the atmosphere. He mingled with the other guests, listening intently to their stories and learning about their remarkable contributions to the community. He met volunteer